Please be seated. Turn your attention to the screen behind me. We're going to show you some things that are going on in the community.
And good morning. My name is Kylie, and I am a member of this Edges community. It is great to see everybody this morning. If you are new or visiting, we wanted to say a special welcome to you. We're really glad that you're here with us today. I would love to tell you more ways about getting connected in our community. So, first, you can talk to the folks around you, ask them why they keep coming back, or maybe why they're here for the first time trying out Edges. Also, you can check out our social media accounts. We post on our social media accounts different things happening in our community, so you can learn more about that and come to events that we're having. Also, I'll be right outside these two doors in the lobby. You can come talk to me about signing up for an email list or just ways that you want to get more plugged in. We have a couple announcements this morning. So one of them is on September 29th at 10 a.m., we will be having one great service. So at the Inn at Virginia Tech, our community and the community of Blacksburg United Methodist Church down on Church Street, we will all be coming together for a service to learn more about the mission of our church and the history of Blacksburg United Methodist Church. But we will not be meeting here at Edges that week. So there will be no 8:30 or 10:30 conversation. Our one conversation will be at the Inn at Virginia Tech. Afterwards, we will have a lunch provided for us. So if that's something you are interested in, we would love for you to sign up on the chalkboards right outside in the lobby, or you can do it online. But if you just write down your name and how many people are going to be in your group, then we'll make sure we have enough lunch for you. Also, we have realized that people don't always know how they can get plugged into the community. So for the next couple weeks, we will be highlighting different ministries and groups that you can get involved in if that's something you're interested in. So this week we're going to talk a little bit more about Edges Kids, and the person who leads Edges Kids is Jessica. So we interviewed Jessica this week and wanted to ask her where the need is with the kids. So the first question we asked Jessica is, why does this matter? And she said, at Edges Kids, we teach and love the youngest members of our community. By creating a safe, fun, and nurturing environment for our little ones, we're giving them the space to explore their relationship with God and ensuring that they know there is an entire group of people who love them and care for them. So then we asked her who would be good for this. She said, parents and non-parents are welcome. If you love laughing and playing with kiddos, feel like a kid yourself, or just get a huge smile on your face when a gaggle of children run in through those doors for communion, you would be perfect for Edges Kids. And then, of course, the most important question we ask is, what is the commitment of doing this? And she said, one Sunday a month for just one service. On the day you volunteer, you can still attend the other service, so you won't have to miss all of the Edges fun. Also, you'll always have a partner, and there's no need to prepare curriculum or activities, so all of that will be provided to you. So if that's something you're interested in signing up for or have more questions about, you can go and talk to Jessica at the end of our conversation today. All right, let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here this morning with these people in this space. Open our eyes to see you and send us home changed. Amen.
As you will, I invite y'all to please stand. We're going to sing some songs together.
Soul
sound of your name. Holy, holy is the Lord, worthy to be praised. Yahweh. Filled with your wonder, here I surrender. Held in your mystery of grace, calling me closer, waking desire, coming alive in your name. Holy, holy is the Lord, worthy to be praised. Yahweh. Fire rising in my soul, all-consuming flame.
He who was and is to come is the one who lives in us, the great I am, Yahweh. He who was and is to come is the one who lives in us, the great I am, Yahweh. He who was and is to come is the one who lives in us, the great I am, Yahweh. He who was and is to come is the one who lives in us, the great I am,
Amen. Please be seated.
Good morning. My name is David Burke, and I'm part of the community here at Edges. First, a special welcome if today is your first time here at Edges, or maybe it's your first time here at Edges in a while. Welcome. We're glad you're here. You're just in time for a new series. We're calling it The Genesis of Good. And for the next few weeks, we'll talk about the things that come along with new beginnings. Beginnings, that's one meaning of the word Genesis, along with give birth. That's another meaning. And it's seasonally appropriate, right? This is the time of year that's full of beginnings. And to be clear, I'm not talking about school starting or football. I'm talking about the return of English Premier League soccer. You're all excited about it, I know. But also new classes, new jobs, new people everywhere that you're trying to drive. And the topic of Genesis could scarcely be more appropriate for my family, as my wife, Sarah, is now 36 and a half weeks pregnant. So, we're in range. This is happening. So we're thinking a lot these days about beginnings and giving birth. Just like the creation stories in the Bible, pregnancy is a time of expectant hope, of promise for what new life could mean for our family. And it's scary as we step out into the unknown. But there's much to be learned if we pay attention. So it's not just a clever name, the Genesis of Good. We really will talk about the book of Genesis as we seek to better understand our overall question for this year: what does it mean to be alive? And because we're doing that, what we're doing, it really is a year-long undertaking, we shouldn't expect to just figure it out all at once. We're going to figure out that big question like any other big question, little by little, together, through other questions and new ideas. So, here's a little question to get the ball rolling this morning. What is something that makes you feel alive? Call out some answers. What is something that makes you feel alive? Hiking? Fresh air? Running? Unexpected cold water. It's shocking. All right, this side, you're feeling it. This side, come on. Cookies, all right, great. What else? One more. Lifting weights. All right. We got the whole spectrum represented this morning. Cookies, lifting weights, cold water, all these things, they make us feel alive. So for me, air travel has always been a source of wonder for me. If you're a person who hates air travel, sorry, but you can live this experience vicariously through me. So when boarding is complete on a plane, they shut the door. I know that I'm not responsible for anything. No one's going to ask me to do anything. I'm just going to sit there with freedom from responsibility and time to enjoy it, and that makes me feel alive. So a career ago, I traveled a lot, and I often flew the short little hop from Charlotte up to Roanoke. And in doing so, I discovered that one of my favorite albums was exactly the length of the flight. So my routine became I would get on the plane, put in my earbuds, and I'd wait until the plane was moving down the runway. I'd hit play on the album, and for the next 41 minutes and 9 seconds, I would just sit there, looking out the window, at the mountains, at the clouds, thinking about how miraculous it is that God made it all and made me, and that I was flying miles above the ground in a tiny chair by a window with a snack. What a time to be alive. It's great to really know you're alive, right? To know that your body and your spirit are connected, to just feel the joy of being part of the world. But just as there are things that make us feel alive, or perhaps aware of our aliveness, there are also things that make us forget. Can you relate to a Walking Dead, not the show, but a Walking Dead sort of life? You may be just as physically alive as ever, but inside, your spirit feels anything but alive, or connected, or joyful. You're just sort of walking through the world. We could call that a state of being out of touch with aliveness. And that's how I've been walking around in the world lately. The past year has been full of major life events and changes for my family. And to be clear, all those changes have been good things. But recently, as we've had several of those things converging all at the same time, I find I am fresh out of room to get in touch with anything other than my overloaded task list. So, in the lead up to this sermon, I confess to my colleagues, well, I have nothing to say. How can a person far removed from aliveness offer good news to anyone who's looking for aliveness? Well, the good news for me and for all of us is that we have a God for this kind of thing. We know the OG original God who invented aliveness. In the book of Genesis, we hear aliveness in the first of the Bible's creation stories. Step by step, God joyfully invites new things into creation. Reading from the Message paraphrase, Genesis chapter 1, verses 3 to 5 says, God spoke, "Light," and light appeared. God saw that light was good and separated light from dark. God named the light day. God named the dark night. It was evening, it was morning, day one. Then this creation rhythm continues throughout the first chapter. God speaks a creation language. Light and life are born, and it's good. Life is good. Later in the chapter, God creates humans in God's image. And since that beginning moment, we all have in common that the same loving Creator who spoke light into being, along with the sky and the water, trees, plants, and all kinds of creatures, is the same loving Creator who spoke us into being, and all the time offers us spiritual aliveness. And that's good. Throughout the Bible, we see precedents for spiritual disciplines. These are practices that are meant to help us get in touch with God's Spirit. There are lots of them. Prayer is an example. If we choose to practice prayer, we may find ourselves in touch with God's Spirit. There are many other practices on a list compiled by John Wesley, the founder of Methodism. You can find that whole list by searching for the Wesleyan means of grace. Meditation features on that list, and today I offer this hypothesis and invite you to test it. Through spiritual disciplines, like meditation, God's grace can awaken us into aliveness. Through spiritual disciplines, like meditation, God's grace can awaken us into aliveness. So, if we're looking to be awoken into aliveness, that's a good why for meditation. But we also need a how if we're going to practice it. How do I do it? Meditation gets a lot of mentions throughout Scripture, particularly in the Psalms, but the Bible doesn't tell us how to go about it. So I'm glad that Christianity doesn't have a monopoly on meditation. Lots of other folks meditate. You may know that meditation is a central practice in the Buddhist tradition. Also, you may have heard of Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk and author who's been very helpful to me and lots of other Christians by offering advice on how to meditate, how you do it. He says, in Buddhism, our effort is to practice mindfulness in each moment, to know what is going on within and all around us. A Christian's aim might not be so different, right? Nhat Hanh introduced me to the language, mindfulness, for what I was already doing on that little flight from Charlotte to Roanoke. In pausing to consider what was going on within and all around me, I touched something Nhat Hanh would call the present moment. I'd become blissfully aware of the fact that I was sitting inside a machine that can fly, and it has a window And through it, I can see that God made mountains on the earth, that God put clouds in the sky. And I knew deeply at that moment that I was alive in it with a snack. So, who did what in that situation? God made the air in a way that planes can fly through it. God made the mountains and evaporation that turns water into clouds. What was my role? My role was simply to choose to pause and pay attention to what was going on so that God's grace could awaken me to the aliveness that was already there, was already within and all around me. Now think about all the other ways that flight could have gone, other ways I could have spent that 41 minutes and 9 seconds. I could have spent the flight staring at my phone, being mad about legroom or armrest battle, or preoccupied with my next task. And had I done that, I would have missed life. It's sort of a you snooze, you lose situation. We see that sentiment echoed elsewhere in the Bible, specifically Psalm 19, verses 1 through 4. You can see it on screen. Again, the Message paraphrase reads, God's glory is on tour in the skies, Godcraft on exhibit across the horizon. Madame Day holds classes every morning. Professor Knight lectures each evening. Their words aren't heard. Their voices aren't recorded. But their silence fills the earth. Unspoken truth is spoken everywhere. Those verses read to me like an ad for something that I absolutely don't want to miss, but I know I often do. I almost always miss the sunrise. I often ignore the sky, and I've skipped an awful lot of Professor Knight's lectures. But the passage is clear. God is out here with class in session all the time, whether I pay attention or not. I also hear a slightly different argument, this one for the value of personal experience. In other words, though hearing about someone else's experience of aliveness may feel nice, it's no substitute for experiencing aliveness for ourselves. So like anything that's called a practice, meditation doesn't do us any good if we don't make time for it, if we don't practice it. So this morning, to help with your practice, I want to share some guidance that's been helpful to me. Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that with some practice and concentration, we can get in touch with the present moment anytime. He suggests that we do this by focusing our awareness on something that happens every moment, our breathing. Let's listen to a short audio clip in which he explains mindfulness of breathing through a simple exercise.
I will give instructions on breathing. It's so important. The first exercise is in-out. It means breathing in. I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I'm breathing out. This is a very important practice. When you breathe in, you know that this is your in-breath and not your out-breath. You identify your in-breath as in-breath. And when you breathe out, you know that this is your out-breath. Only that. But it is a very important practice.
I could listen to that guy all day, just melt into that voice. He continues to say that by focusing our awareness on our breath, something wonderful happens. We stop thinking. For those of us with brains that never seem to stop thinking, that sounds like a miracle already, doesn't it? Next, he encourages us to find the present moment so that we can avoid missing what he calls appointments with life. Let's listen again.
Let us think a little bit. The blue sky, the beautiful blue sky. When can you get in touch with the blue sky? In the present moment. In order not to miss the blue sky, you have to go back to the present moment, because it is in that moment that you can get in touch with the blue sky. The beautiful rivers, the beautiful trees, your mommy, your daddy, they are all in the present moment. And if you go back to the present moment, you encounter them. Everything wonderful, everything refreshing. You want to get in touch. They are in the present moment. Therefore, running to the future or getting lost in the past, you miss life. And therefore, breathing in and out is to get back to the present moment where you have an appointment with life. That is why in out is so important. It makes life possible to you.
Those appointments with life are exactly what Psalm 19 offers us. God's glory is on tour in the skies. Don't miss your appointment. So I invite you to try it. Test it out. Some night this week, go outside to a place that's dark, but safe, please, and spend some time just looking up, being mindful of the night sky. Or you could go outside during the day, sit down under a tree. Don't bring an agenda, just sit. If quieting your mind first would help, try that short breathing exercise. Then see what you notice about what's going on within and all around you. Now, if you don't meditate regularly already, I hope that our worship today will serve as motivation to help you get started. But getting us started is really all that motivation does, right? Habit is what keeps us going. So I encourage you and me to make meditation a healthy habit. Pick a time each day or a few times each week to pause and notice the life within and around you. And see if it makes a difference. See what difference it makes. Here's hoping the result is aliveness. So let it be. Now, if you were here last week, you'll recall that as part of our theme for the year, we're going to include meditation in our worship conversations. There are lots of ways to approach meditation, such as the mindfulness of breathing we just talked about. Last week, we sat in silence with a prompt on screen. And another method is guided meditation, in which we sit and meditate together, guided by some verbal instructions. And I'd like for us to try a guided meditation this morning. So I've taken a meditation by Tony Brady, who is an author and mindfulness teacher, and I've adapted it for us to use this morning. So before we begin, I invite Luke to come up to the piano and suggest this is a good time for all of us to silence our phones. And I want you to find a comfortable position. Just get comfortable as we prepare to listen together for 4 to 5 minutes. That's 4 to 5, not 45. And don't worry about anybody else in the room. This really is a time to just do nothing and relax. Closing your eyes, if that's comfortable, or maybe looking down toward the floor may make it easier for you to concentrate. Let's begin. Each of us woke up today to the magic that is the unearned gift of our existence. Our circumstances vary, of course. We are female and male, and some are in between. Old and young, and some in between. We are rich and poor, and some are in between. Black and white, and again, some in between. In some extraordinary way, all of us are at the stopping place on a journey between the wonder of birth and the mystery of death. Today, just now in this moment, we are all one in experiencing life. In this, no matter our circumstances, we are blessed beyond imagining. May we open our awareness to the unearned gift that is our life. If we are blessed with the gift of sight, may we explore the world around us as if we are seeing it for the first or for the last time. If we have the gift of hearing, may we listen to the sounds of the world around us and the voices of the people around us as if we are experiencing sound and the words of our companions for the first or for the last time. Just look at the way a baby touches and feels objects placed beside a child who is open to the amazing new world. When did we last explore the different textures of the objects around us? Humanity has launched out into space and are rightly thrilled at what our probes are sending back. But we often take our home planet for granted. There is only one Earth, and there is wonder here too, if we just recapture the ability to pay attention. Let's relax now for 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds of quiet gratitude. Welcome back. So, the message of this meditation is that we are blessed beyond measure, beyond our wildest dreams. We have in our possession what Mary Oliver describes as one wild and precious life. She asks, what will we do with it? We don't have to imagine or worry about a lifetime of good works, though that can be the happy result of what we do day by day. But just for today, may we be aware of the life within us and all around us. So let it be.
beginning of time. With no point of reference, he spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars were made to worship, so will I can see your heart in everything you've made. Every burning star, a signifier of grace. If creation sings your praises, so will I. God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follows the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. If it all reveals your nature, so will I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. If creation still obeys you, so will I. If the stars were made to worship, so will I. If the mountains bow in reverence, so will I. If the oceans roar your greatness, so will I. For if everything exists to lift you high, then so will I. If the wind goes where you send it, so will I. If the rocks cry out in silence, so will I. If the sum of all our praises still falls shy, then we'll sing again 100 billion God of salvation, you chased down my heart through all of my failure and pride. where you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you, so I can see your heart in everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art called love. If you gladly chose surrender, so will I can see your heart a billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them, so will I. Like you would again 100 billion times. But one measure could amount to your desire. You're the one who never leaves the one behind.
So, we're having a baby, and when that baby arrives, there are going to be all kinds of opportunities to notice life. Tiny little toes, or skin, little fat rolls, all of it that God made, and it's good. But we're also going to be so tired that we're not going to want to pause to pay attention to it. That's the struggle, right? So I'll leave you this morning with a quote from theologian Ferris Bueller, who said, "Life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop once in a while and look around, you might miss it." Amen.